Here we're connecting. Okay. Yeah, the reason long-term care insurance is such a big deal is because most policies have money for aging in place. So whether it is helping somebody find a multi-generational home, which means multi-generational, multiple generations living under one roof, or if you're helping somebody downsize, or if you want to provide a solution for somebody to stay and gain the trust of their adult children and family, then long-term care is a great way to just sound really smart and an
Yeah.
extra tool in your toolbox. And a real life example of this is I had a client who knew that they didn't want to move, but they asked me to do a home safety assessment and their bathroom renovation to achieve what they wanted to achieve, tearing out a massive jetted tub that nobody used anymore, to create a zero barrier, beautiful shower so that they could age in place was going to be around $80,000. Um, and I said, "Well, what about your long-term care insurance policy?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't even looked into it." So she called her provider, and then I kid you not, no more than like 30 minutes after I left their house, she called me and was like, "You just saved me $8,000 because they were allowing up to 10% of the total project cost as long as it was medically necessary." So if you
Nice.
don't obviously not all of you are occupational therapists, so you can't write that medical necessity note, but you can find somebody that can, and
Yeah,
people will love you when you save them that kind of money. So I was just reminded of that
absolutely.
this morning and wanted to bring it up. If we needed like things to touch our clients with or blog or anything just value add education wise, that's definitely something we should be talking about with our clients is long-term care insurance and to
For
understand their
sure.
policies if they have them. But
I,
hello,
I
Cindy.
I
How are
forget
you?
about that.
Yeah. How is business going for you, Mark and Cindy? We have a smaller group. I was just talking to the other coaches, and we think that people are just feeling burnt out because of summer. It is bloody hot in St. Louis, and I went for a walk this morning, and that was going to be another one of my prompts. Like, what are you doing this week to help somebody age well? And what are you doing to help yourself age well? Because I wanted to quit my walk so bad this morning, and I was like, this is good for my health. This is good for my health. But yeah, how is business for you all?
Well,
Um, you
go
go
ahead,
ahead, Mark.
Cindy.
Um, I had been completely dry from March until about 2 weeks ago, no business. Right now,
Uh,
I have 3 listings and 2 buyers. And so I've never had this much
Amazing.
business all at one time. And one of them is a referral from a senior living community.
Okay. Was it
So
one of the
I
ones you did Popeye for?
Yes, yeah, it is. And I don't know if you see what I saw what I posted on Facebook, and I don't know what you had planned today, but I was hoping maybe we could talk about it a little bit because it's an icky, horrible situation, and I'm not sure how to handle it. So, um,
Absolutely. I did see your post, but for
yeah.
those on the call that didn't, why don't you just give us like a quick synopsis of the very difficult hand you've been dealt?
So it is a hoarder house. Mom has been living this way for years and years. It is mold ridden. A couple weeks
Oh,
ago, mom had a health scare that brought her into the hospital and then into transitional care for just a couple of days. 3 kids live nearby. They, I hate to say this, but I do think that there's some maybe cognitive issues, executive function issues. Like things aren't,
with
they're
mom
not
or the kids?
both.
Okay.
Um, and um, and so the daughter came up from Texas. She's the one that got me involved, and they were staying in a hotel with, or she was staying in a hotel with mom, so she wasn't in that environment. They found assisted living that they're interested in, but the house, I mean, it's an awful hoarder house. The kids, so we had a timeline and we told the family by August 15th, you had to get everything out of there. And there was like a physical fight. One of the brothers outright like took a piece of equipment and whacked the sister across the head. So the sister from Texas was like, I'm all out. I'm not dealing with this anymore. And she dropped
This
off
is
all
why
of
I live in Texas. Yeah.
Yes. And she was the only one that seemed to be, kind of on top of things
With
or
it.
understanding. And so then she went to drop she has two things of like paperwork and stuff. She went to drop it off at the house, saw that the brothers were still there, so she left it outside and it rained. So all the paperwork is like, a mess. And now I'm starting over with a brother who's seeing, I mean, I was on the phone with him an hour and a half last night. So I talked with the mom and she's upset and sad. And now she's back in the hospital. And I think it is too, the stress of the situation. And the other thing is she went back into that house where all the mold is and she was having breathing problems. So
Mm.
she's in the hospital now. I talked with the brother. Well, first I talked with her and I'm like, what do you want? Like, Audrey from Texas was your power of attorney. Is that what you want to continue with? Because she's like, I don't understand her. She's wacky. She's a different person. I don't understand what's going
Oh.
like she's a completely different, they think she had like I don't know, a personality change or something. And she goes, and besides, she forged the paperwork for the POA. I don't know if that's so she wants the son to be the POA. So I called him. He seems competent, but he works like 15-hour days, has no availability,
Mm.
to help or do anything. So yeah, so the mom is in the hospital. I do have two different investors who are interested in making a purchase. Um, Literally, there are three campers and four pickup trucks in the backyard that have been there for over 10 years with weeds growing over it's a 1.3 acre lot. And so
Oh,
there's
wow.
crap everywhere. And so I have found two different investors who are willing to work with me, but they want to move fast because once winter hits, this isn't a good deal for them anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So, my thought is to call Adult Protective Services, but yeah, I don't know if that's the right thing because then are they going to be looking at me like I'm that horrible person that called?
Yeah, that's hard because you want to keep their trust so that you can serve
Right.
them. A couple of follow-up questions.
Hmm.
You mentioned they've identified assisted living that works for mom. Like, financially, are they in a position to move her right in, or do they need the
They
proceeds from the house?
They need the proceeds. Are several life insurance policies that they could turn in and get enough money to get them through 2 weeks or 2 months. I'm sorry. That's frustrating because the payout on death is much higher than the payout, before death. So the
Yeah,
family is disagreeing, like, well, we could get $50,000. Instead, she's getting 10. I mean, I'm completely making those numbers up. So the family
yeah, yeah, yeah.
disagrees about using those life insurance policies. Um, and those life insurance policies are somewhere in that mess of all that wet paperwork.
Ugh.
So, I mean, my thought is, you know, they have given me permission to go into the mold-ridden house and look through all the paperwork. um, because nobody has time and nobody knows what they're looking for. And my thought right now is to go over there, find that paperwork, work with her to get those turned in. I mean, literally, she could move into assisted living tomorrow, but then the issue is there's still stuff in the house and it needs to be treated for mold. Um, but my thought is buy her a bed with the proceeds and get her into the new place and then get the rest of the stuff over there.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Um, do you have any relationships with anyone at your like Minnesota Association area agencies on aging? I'm pretty sure
I
every state has
I
that.
don't. It's interesting you should say that. I've been frustrated because I've reached out several times and nobody has gotten back to me.
Oh, bummer. I just put the website link
Isn't
because
that
they're
crazy?
super helpful. That is crazy because they're like a
So
nonprofit that is supposed to be for this exact purpose for like senior advocacy.
so
Um,
we have several in our area. So I've reached out to the Twin Cities metro area where I am. There's one that's north of the Twin Cities that I see a lot more activity. I see things popping up on social media. I'm thinking to at least reach out to them. I know they don't service our area, but maybe I just feel like they're so much more active that perhaps, oh, because at one point a couple months ago, somebody suggested becoming part of that. And probably, I don't know, every 3 weeks, I either leave a voicemail message or an email, and like nobody's getting back to me.
Interesting.
hmm I found that incredibly.
Yeah. Um, there's a 800 number. I don't know if you tried that, the senior linkage line. Each of the six agencies manages an information center, assist older adults, da da da. Reach the senior
Yeah.
linkage line at 800. You tried that one?
I no, you're right. I should try that one, and I'm familiar with that one. I have to admit, I'm just so flooded and overwhelmed. I'm like,
Yeah, completely
yeah,
understandable.
but
I
you're
put
right.
the link for that number in the chat. Um, anybody else have anybody want to contribute to what you would do first? So just to catch you up, Cindy has a very difficult situation. We are very grateful for referrals, and this one is a little overwhelming. It came from you doing the activities, so let's acknowledge that first. Like that's amazing, and it came from a senior living community. We will celebrate those things, and at the end, once you get to the finish line, then we'll celebrate even more. But this is a perfect example of why a lot of people choose not to do the work that we're doing because it isn't easy and it weighs on us because we really care about the people. And it sounds like if mom just keeps going back home, she's just going to keep getting sick and it'll be a cyclical, like she needs to get out of there ASAP. Follow up on the buyers. I had a question there. You said you had um,
Investors.
to investors that are interested, is there any way, like, do you have close relationships with them? Would it burn a bridge if you tried to get more investors? When I'm in situations like this, I do investor only open houses and then I blast it out to thousands of
I did
people.
that. I did
Okay,
that.
okay,
So I have there's probably 15 investors in my office. And so
okay, nice.
I reached out to all of them. Only three were interested based on the condition and the location. And they came out. And meanwhile, there were two other investors just as I had been networking. So um, we had five people walk through and two um, are interested, but there's so many things up in the air. Like, are they going to take the campers? Do we need to take
Yeah,
the campers? And, here's another thing that kills. I know we're in this because we have a heart for seniors and we want to help them, but they're going to get $160,000 for the house. So my commission isn't going to be
yeah.
super, super big. So that kind of bums me out too. Um, yeah, if they were financially in a different situation, I do have like a tiered plan for my commission depending on the level of work that I do, but I can't in good conscience charge them any more than sort of the basic fee because they're broke. Like she didn't eat for 3 days because she didn't have money.
Oh,
So,
so how do you serve them so well and not let it be a time suck or a keep you awake at night situation? Like, how can you leverage services that, or like in St. Louis, again, I know every market is different, but if I have a situation like that, I'm telling the investor, you have to help me get all this stuff out of here. Like, if you want this house, if you want this opportunity, you're going to get everything out of here.
right. And that is the plan. But
Hmm.
does the family is saying we're going to take all this stuff.
Oh,
So the estimate is based on assuming that they're going to take that stuff. And if they don't, now their price is going to go down because it's expensive to get rid of three campers and four pickup trucks in a
yeah,
backyard. So
yeah.
there's a lot of assumptions. And in my gut, I don't think the family is going to do anything. So then
They're
the
not
price,
going to deliver.
right. So I've got one offer for 166, one for 182, but there's all these different caveats. Um,
Yeah,
it's septic and well. So we have to get that tested, which there's costs associated with that. And they're saying, well, we can't afford it. Well, do I do that out of my own pocket and get reimbursed? That
No, no, no,
no.
no,
So
no.
how, yeah. So yeah. So as far as just the cost to have the septic tested, I talked to there's one other investor that's going to get back to me today. And I said, explain, and I know her well. She's great. I love her. Even if her estimate comes in lower, I would truly encourage them to go with her because she's going to be super great to work with. And she understands the plight. And I said, if you can figure out a way to make it so they don't have to, pay for these things or whatever. So she and her partner, who's her husband, are kind of putting their thinking cap on and trying to figure out different ways that they can help. But yeah. So then I did see Corey posted that he has that program, and I was going to reach out to him. But the thing is, if we can cash in those life insurance policies, like literally, I can get her into assisted living in 2 days. You know,
Yeah. Are you going to get
or
a referral, a placement referral for
I'm
placement?
not because
Okay.
so I actually got the referral from an assisted living that she had toured, but
Oh,
decided that it wasn't a good fit. Literally an
oh,
hour after they toured, and I met with that guy, I had a pop by. That guy said, oh my gosh, there's this family that really needs a lot of help. They ended up going someplace else and they already had that taken care of before I even got involved in the situation.
gotcha. Okay. Huh. Well, I mean, it sounds like you're doing everything. It sounds like you've done everything right. As long
Okay.
as you are setting the whole family, like I don't know what your communication looks like with this party and this party and this party, but as long as they all know, hey, this offer is contingent on you removing these things by, hey, reminder, we have 1 week before these things have to be removed, and I still don't see
Right.
them. Hey, it's 2 days past when you said you were getting this removed. The offer is now X. Like, I just think
Right.
over communication with all the parties so that you are above board. I
Mhm.
think trying to reach out to that hotline that is listed on the um, area on agency's
Yeah.
website to try to
Mhm.
leverage things off of your plate, like provide
Yes.
value by getting an organization that is their one thing involved, and just keep moving forward with those investors. And I think it sounds like you're doing an amazing job. No, it's not like warm and fuzzy, and no, it's not fun, but I can't like poke any holes in anything that I would do better. You're doing great.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Thanks. And
Yeah.
I think leveraging some of the resources is going to
That's a
be,
big one because you can't,
you know,
I mean, we've all had deals where our dollar per hour is in the dirt and then the universe makes up for it. And you have somebody say, somebody just gave me your name and I want to write an offer on this house, and you don't show them any houses. And that's like the greatest thing ever. So I do think like it's okay to work more and get paid less, especially if you get a testimonial from every single kid, or if you write down your experiences as you go so you can make social media post about it, so that you can write a blog post about it, so that you can warn people about collecting
right,
things, etc. Like, don't let a crisis go to waste ever. But
right.
it sounds like you're doing exactly what you need to be doing. Does anybody else that is listening in, does anybody have any tips for Cindy? Have you been in similar situations?
all the time. All the time.
Oh,
I'm
let's
yeah.
hear it.
That's my so I meet with families in crisis. They're on their way out, never going home,
Hmm.
and so that's what I do. My partner and I offer we either we can buy it or we can do an investor open house for you if you don't want to put it on the MLS. But that is always if you want the best financial outcome, that's where it should be. If you don't want the photos, you don't want the traffic, that's a different story. We can do it off market for you and we'll do that investor open house. But um we'll do seller financing. We'll help you flip your own home. We'll help you sell it to a family member. Whatever it is, we've got all the options. Design your own box, don't fit into ours. So, we
Love
we
that.
do the same stuff. Yeah, and the karmatic world thing is true. Whether it's because one of the family members involved remembers what you did and refers you, or because they do the online review, or because your name is just getting out there in public record because you still have to add it to the MLS. Whatever it is, people are seeing it and it's creating business for you. It's getting your name out there, if nothing else.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And just so you know, I always encourage, going on the MLS, but this isn't safe for
Yep.
anybody to walk through. I mean, it should be
Oh,
on TV.
yeah.
It's a porterhouse.
It should
Well,
be on
so
TV.
we'll get what is the name of the form, a release, if to enter the home, if need be. And we've done that on occasion as well, but there are some that are so bad that nobody should be going in. Sure.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. And so that's why the investors, I teased that. I mean, so the investors did walk through, but we're not going to
Yep.
have, showings on this property. I mean, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So I feel like I have a handle on, so when I talked
Yeah.
to the son last night, I said, your door is going to close for somebody to purchase the house. And I made up a date of September 15th because an investor isn't going to want to buy in October and, deal with the winter. And
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
to talk with your family members and see if you can get the stuff out of the house by then. And, I reached out to each of the kids and said, can mom stay with you? No, we have stairs. We don't have an extra
Jeez.
bed for her. We don't, all that kind of stuff. Um, yeah. So, yeah, interesting. So, Mark, when you see somebody is in that tough of a situation, have you gotten any outside services involved?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have an estate sale guy who he won't turn anything down.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
most of them will turn down hoarder houses.
Yeah.
He does not. So we'll get a little something out of that. It depends on what the family and the senior themselves want. Because
Right.
of and you're bringing people in from the public. My estate sale guy, then he'll have people sign waivers to enter if there's an issue with the home in that situation. And then I have a clean out crew that they'll stomach almost anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I
I've
do
had to
have a
bring
cleanup
in
guy.
biohazard cleanup before as well. So,
Yeah, I do have a clean out guy, and he will actually, things of value. He's like, he does a
yep.
rundown. This is what it costs, but I'm going to be able to sell these 10 items for this much. So then, that
Mm,
basically is credited to them.
yeah.
But I really just want the investor to take care of it all and have use their junk person, use all of their people.
Yeah. If there's
Um,
time and they're wanting to try and capitalize on every dollar, pinch every penny out of it, then I'll see that their goals are met. If they
Yeah.
don't, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's a whole lot of
Janet
that.
has,
Oh, go
someone has
ahead.
their hand raised.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know if they
depends.
have
Yes.
something to
Yeah.
contribute for you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. How are you guys?
Good.
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 I am, so mine is really a novice question. So you guys, I've been on here a couple times, so you guys know I'm still new to the game. But my question is this a place where you could get an estate attorney involved and start working on getting her Medicaid to be able to then pay for the ALF?
Um,
Well, good.
No?
Oh, I mean,
Uh,
basically, she's not destitute enough to get like the elderly waiver yet. You need to get way,
Okay.
way, way down. Because her house is valued at, at this point, $160,000. That's not going to kick in yet. But I did coach them in the place that they have. Basically, if they can pay for 2 years, then the elderly waiver will kick in. So they're not destitute enough yet, if that makes sense.
yeah. So I
Gotcha.
and I
Okay.
can
I've
elaborate
heard
on that.
the Okay, yeah, thank you, Mark. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so at least here where I am in the Milwaukee area of Wisconsin, your choices for the facility uh, are limited to the county in which you reside and at the time in which you go on Medicaid. So some counties have better services and facilities than others. So sometimes that's a factor. I don't do placement. You don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Mhm.
And so I refer them to my placement specialist that they're often already working with. If that's the case, I do have some attorneys that have, they'll get you on Medicaid and then you come off Medicaid when the house sells. So if you need immediate placement, those kinds of things can be done.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know all the ins and outs of why sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't appropriate or possible. That's for the attorney to figure out. But I have had clients where that happens.
Okay,
And you have after you sell the house, at least here in Wisconsin, you've got 30 days to get rid of that money before it's a Medicaid issue.
right.
So,
I've heard this, like, there's the 5-year look back for Medicaid, and so
well,
they'll
that
look
yeah,
at all the assets,
that's
right? Like,
yep.
that's the terminology. Okay. I've only heard things being thrown around. I don't really know, like, it's something on
Yeah,
my to-do list to figure it all out. Not, not as to the level of an attorney, but just so if I'm in the situation, which I'm finding it's going to probably be more often than not, that I kind of know how to handle and navigate and not give any suggestions that aren't going to lead anywhere, but then also give suggestions that could be helpful too.
Yeah, so that look back period being 5 years, it has been 7 and 9 in the past. It may change again under current administration potentially. I don't know. And either direction, right? But I don't expect that. I haven't heard anything specific yet on that, but it's a suspicion I have. Anyway, regardless, that look back period is in effect, and that's where it does come in, where some of the attorneys say you can go on and off depending on their financial situation. If there's going to be more than $50,000 in assets, then there's a legalized shell game they can do with annuities and other things like a WISPAC trust, etc. So it just depends on the situation. There's too many variables. There's no cookie cutter.
Yeah, and I'm finding every state is different because I dealt with this with my dad in Florida and I thought I was so smart. And then Minnesota is very different in some ways. So,
Yeah.
And that I'm in Florida, so that might make kind
oh,
of yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah.
So I did a quick chat GPT search and who knew that Minnesota has a hoarding task force? Have you tried that as a resource
whoa,
or have you heard of such
no,
a thing? I
I
just put it
haven't.
in the chat, mnhtf.org. So it's a nonprofit. It's called Hoarding Task Force of Minnesota. And then it says they do not do cleanouts, but they will direct you to resources. I'm reading between the lines that probably everything is paid, but still it might be a way to like find a cheaper than like a junk removal person and meet the family where they're at. Like if you could get 75% of the stuff, I've got this resource and they could take out X amount from their proceeds to get the rest of the stuff out.
Yeah.
But I put two links in the chat. The other one is elderjusticeminnesota.org, and that looks like if you wanted to go the route of getting an actual like attorney advocate on board, maybe I don't know, it would be like a fine line, just like calling. It would be like calling the senior hotline essentially, but maybe more of a collaborative effort instead of telling on the family, coming alongside the family.
Okay.
But victim services sounds a little harsh, but I think that this woman is definitely like a victim of elder abuse because her kids seem like dinguses and they don't like nobody's taking initiative. So maybe worth reaching out,
Yeah,
maybe not. I don't know. But those
yeah,
are some ones
yeah.
that I found just when doing a search while listening to everybody. So I hope you
Awesome.
feel a little
Yes,
bit more empowered today.
yes, I do.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
And Mark, by the way,
Totally.
I was born in Milwaukee and all my family lives in that area.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm in Waukesha, just about 20 to 30 minutes west, depending on traffic.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
my closest cousin is in Wauwatosa.
Oh,
I
sure.
mean, the person that I'm
I have
closest to.
cousins in Tosa.
Really?
Oh,
Janet's from Kenosha. We got all the
See?
Midwesterners
All the
on board
Wisco
Oh, that
in
is
the
so
today.
house.
funny. I used to live in Kenosha.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty,
Yeah, so you're all
that's pretty
Brewers
ironic.
fans then.
Oh, not so much.
Number
No,
one in
no,
the MLB
no.
right now. Sorry. That
It
was for
rarely
Gretchen.
happens. It rarely happens, but the Cardinals stink, so it's fine. That also
Thank
rarely
God, because
happens.
they've had their
But the
reign.
last,
So,
I know the last few years have been a rough go for the red and white, but here we are. We're still
yeah.
fans. It's okay. We'll get
Yep.
them next year.
Mhm.
Well, thank you guys for helping Cindy out. Cindy, thanks for
you.
bringing it to the group because we all become better when we hear out other people's situations. So, Janet, we hope that you continue to join us. Nice to meet you. I don't think I've ever been on a call with you. Um, oh goodness, Heather's in the waiting room and we're about to jump off. We'll say hello and then goodbye. Corey is teaching a master class today at 10 Central. So if you did need to grab time with him, Cindy, I would recommend just hopping on there and asking your question. I don't think there'll be any harm in that. But go forth and be awesome. Thank you all for pitching in. And don't forget to ask your clients about long-term care policies. That's all I
Thanks
got.
for that reminder. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.